From the golden fields of Saturday glory, strap on the helmet and into the huddle. It's Mr. Gridiron.
Yes, in coverage I'm playing press. You can text, but if it ain't looking right, I'm swiping left. Next.
Boy, don't hate the player, hate the game now. Killing it just won't be the same now. Boy, I'm balling hard in the pain now. Boy, I'm balling hard in the pain now. Boy, don't hate the player, hate the game now. Killing it just won't be the same now. Boy, I'm balling hard in the pain now. Boy, I'm balling hard in the pain now.
What is up, everybody? This is Mr. Gridiron, Thomas Christopher, with another episode of Mr. Gridiron. This is numero 22, 2022. Got the see the dark side of the room thing still going on. As you see, we're not in the studio, have some maintenance stuff getting done. That's actually why today's episode is starting earlier than normal. With that being said, this is a live episode. Please make sure to click that like button. It's completely free to do so. Really helps out the channel a lot. I truly appreciate that. And like I just mentioned, this is a live show. So if you leave a comment during any portion of the show, we'll get it up on the screen. We'll highlight it, whether it's a question, concern, comment, anything. As long as it's nothing, don't go crazy. Let's keep it PG or PG-13. That being said, you can find the show on X, Twitter, Facebook, YouTube. Hit that like button, hit that share button. If your friends or family like college football, they're going to like this show a lot. You can also find this show anywhere you find your favorite shows and podcasts, whether it's on Spotify, iTunes, Apple Music, Amazon, or iHeartRadio. We do have a great show. We're going to be talking about some Brendan Sorsby stuff again, though the saga is just about over now, for now. And then we'll get into some other stuff. But let's get into this morning huddle first.
Put the ball! Let's go, family on three! 1, 2, 3, family!
So perhaps some of the most interesting news here is that Paramount Plus is announcing a Texas Tech football docuseries. This is amid all the Sorsby stuff. I'm going to put this actually on the screen while I go highlight this. Texas Tech football program. In the midst of that, Paramount Plus announced Monday afternoon that a 4-episode docuseries chronicling all of the drama in Sorsby's situation will be coming soon. According to the release, the project will be directed by Micah Brown, who previously worked on Coach Prime and Untold Sign Stealing for Prime Video and Netflix. Episode 1 is expected before the 2026 college football season. Now, there's a quote here from Scotty and Sports VP, Greg Groggle. This has been proven to be a landscape-altering offseason, and we've been lucky to have a front row seat. The series will present fans and viewers with an unprecedented window into everything that is defining college football today. There was one of these analysts I'm going to blank on his name, but he was actually in Lubbock, and he said that there were people already in the building for this, even a little bit before the Sorsby stuff went on. However, very interesting that this is going on now, especially after Texas Tech just lost about $5 million to Brendan Sorsby, and now this is going on. So it seems like they're trying to get that money back, and I don't know if I blame them. It's hard to say. In other news, East Texas football players James Morrow and Josiah Hill were killed in a shooting at a Whataburger in Texas over the weekend. Hill had just received a scholarship to play at William Penn in Iowa, while Morrow had transferred to Trinity Valley Community College. Reportedly, they just finished attending a family member's birthday party before stopping at the Whataburger. Really just you hate to see that stuff. Violence is stupid. And continuing on with unfortunately that trend, Nebraska running back Mekhi Nelson has been arrested and charged with aggravated battery in Florida involving a pregnant woman. If he's convicted of this, he needs to be done playing football, period. That's all I'm going to say. I went on a rant last week about almost this exact type of stuff of the women beaters, the drug abusers, etc., getting multiple chances. This has to end. This guy should never play down a football again. He should be stripped of everything, period. Wisconsin announces, in better news, Wisconsin announces a jersey patch sponsorship deal with Culver's for their football and basketball team. And I want to see if I can pull up the jerseys, Wisconsin Culver jerseys. because they looked kind of they look nice. You know, they got the nice little ad on there. I guess this will do if I can put it up. Give me 1 second. We're gonna slide this on the screen right here. A match made in Wisconsin. That's funny. Here's the jerseys right here. It's little, you know, it's right near the Big 12 stuff. I don't hate it. I'm a fan of Culver, so I'm not gonna hate on it anyway, to be honest with you. I like it though. I wouldn't be shocked if we start seeing more football teams do this, by the way. Not even football teams, more universities rather. So just be prepared for that. Which, hey man, get your money how you can get your money. I'd be doing the same thing. In other news, Bleacher Report has identified college football's most exciting players entering 2026. And I wanted to highlight this because they do have some interesting names. I'm going to share the screen here. First, Charlie Becker, wide receiver from Indiana, 6'4", big man. You know, would be very interesting. NFL first round NFL expectations. We'll see how that goes. I'm excited for him. Isaac Brown from Louisville, the running back. I am a massive fan of this kid. He is going to be a stud. He's a workhorse. Malachi Toney, obviously, the phenom wideout who plays at Miami, is another receiver mentioned in this article. He's expected to take a big leap this year too, and it's kind of hard. I mean, he's a stud. He's a stud. He's automatic. You know, that's NFL talent. Ahmad Hardy, running back from Missouri, doesn't get nearly enough love from the public, despite having over 1,600 yards and led the FBS, you know, with 11 runs out of at least 30 yards. And this guy's still kind of flying under the radar for a lot of casuals. He's a stud. They also mentioned Jeremiah Smith, who's kind of fallen off a little bit. We expected him to do a little bit more last year. Kind of the same thing with Ryan Williams from Alabama. They have Caleb Hawkins on this list too, who we've talked about on the show here. Big fan of Caleb Hawkins. Obviously, he transferred from North Texas. He was a true freshman there, along with, you know, Drew Mestamaker. That offense was fantastic. He follows Eric Morris, his head coach, who was with him at North Texas. I think he's going to be a very big stud too. I love Oklahoma State's running back room because they don't just have Caleb Hawkins. They have Trey Page, who was a running back at Tarleton State, who I'm a massive fan on. And those two as a 1A, 1B, 1-2 punch are going to be fantastic in the Big 12. They mentioned Trinidad Chambliss from Ole Miss, which no surprise there, especially after the way he turned heads last season. He should be deserved on there. Wayne Knight from UCLA. Not too many people know about Wayne Knight. He was at James Madison, ran for over 1,300 yards last year, caught 40 balls. He's a special teams guy too. First team All Sun Belt. Transfers to UCLA with head coach Bob Chesney. Wayne Knight is going to be a stud. You can actually find an article on Wayne Knight on our website at theleaguewinners.com by Eric Harapshian. Shout out to Eric there. So a lot of big name players here too. Very fascinating to see that list. Really rooting for those guys. But with that being said, we're going to get into the main section of our today's episode. We do have a film session of Duce Robinson later, but before we get into all that, we do have the biggest news that we're going to be talking about, and that's going to be the primary topic for today's show. But before we get into that, please make sure to click that like button. Like I said, it's completely free to do so. Helps out the channel greatly. Also takes us one like if you're watching. You leave a comment too. It really helps with the algorithm. I appreciate that. And if you leave a comment after the show ends, give me about 24, 48 hours. I'll get back to you. But without further ado, let's get into today's Morning Blitz. So I keep thinking that's supposed to be a little bit longer. A little bit longer. But with that being said, the biggest news in today's episode and the primary focus of today's episode, unfortunately, or maybe fortunately, depending how you're looking at it, is the case of Brendan Sorsby, obviously the Texas Tech quarterback who was caught gambling while he was at Indiana as a true freshman, despite not really playing too much there. Then he transfers over to Cincinnati, where he is known from the Bearcats that he has been gambling. They swept it under the rug, didn't say anything, let him play there. Only time this was mentioned was when he decides to transfer to Texas Tech, and then that's when the story miraculously gets leaked, and that we, applied to play for the 2026 season for Tech. Didn't work out. Still was able to pocket the money that he received from Tech. I'm not sure if there was anything contractual with that or just if Tech just let him keep the money. That being said, that he was all set to pretty much play until the Big 12 decided to sue Texas Tech. And once that happened, Texas Tech finally relented and said they were not going to play Sorsby this year. And Sorsby, wasn't going to play this year in college football. Goes to try to get to the NFL. And the NFL decides not to have a supplemental draft, even though the supplemental draft is made literally for situations like Sorsby's. And then we have the CFL coming out and taking their moral high ground to about not letting Sorsby get signed to a team, which is just ludicrous. CFL is just I'll put it like this. Sorsby made it really easy for billion-dollar organizations to take a morality ground and standing, even though they are far from it. I'll just be nice about that. However, because of that, Brendan Sorsby decided that he was going to try to take things forward and pursue litigation against the NFL. But then it was released that he will no longer be pursuing litigation. And we're going to be highlighting that in today's Morning Blitz. And we'll put up the article from ESPN on here too. The NFL Players Association and Brendan Sorsby will not be pursuing litigation after the NFL's decision not to hold the supplemental draft this year, according to a memo sent to all 32 NFL teams. Instead, Sorsby will shift his focus to preparation for the 2027 NFL draft. And this is in the memo. We have confirmed with the NFLPA and Brendan Sorsby that there will be no further litigation regarding his entry into the NFL, and that instead, Mr. Sorsby will focus on his preparation for entry into the league via the 2027 NFL Draft. For purposes of league and CBA rules, Mr. Sorsby will be considered a draft-eligible player for the 2027 NFL Draft. He will not be eligible to sign an NFL player contract until the completion of the 2027 NFL Draft. After the NCAA ruled him ineligible, blah, blah, blah. We already kind of talked about this as well. This is the NFL will not discipline Sorsby for currently known prior misconduct, but retains the right to investigate his conduct beyond what is the current public filings, an NFL source told NFL Network's Ian Rappaport. It also reserves the right to take college misconduct into consideration in setting discipline for any future violations, which is interesting. I'm not sure if that's precedent, but we'll see. In a statement released Tuesday, so yesterday, Sorsby says, "I accept 100% responsibility for my actions. I did not have control of my gambling problem, and it took getting caught, for me to realize that. But it was truly the best thing that could have happened to me. Because of this, I have been able to get the help I need and fully focus on my recovery. The news about the supplemental draft changes nothing about my recovery journey. I will continue to take it one day at a time, focusing on making myself better throughout this process and making sure to share what I have learned. We'll continue to learn with others going forward, and we'll continue to learn with others going forward. I'm fully committed to being the best version of myself that I can while getting ready for the 2027 draft. God makes no mistakes, and I look forward to seeing the good that is to come from this." Sorsby was ESPN's #1 player in the portal this offseason. And this is where we talked about this before. Bets. This is the part where it's hilarious because they're purposefully not adding Cincinnati on this point. Bets that totaled upwards of 90,000, including 40 wagers on Indiana football while he was on the team. Nothing about Cincinnati there. Cincinnati needs to be mentioned there. I'm getting it's easy to say Indiana now because they're winner, but this is the thing. This is the thing that's gonna make it really annoys the hell out of me. Sorsby wasn't there when Cincinnati was there. No connection. There's no connection to Sorsby to the current Indiana football team, more or less. Why are we continuing to mention, okay, yes, he bet while he was on the team. Okay, cool. He also did the same thing while he was at Cincinnati, and there is nothing that ever mentions Cincinnati ever. That's all I'm going to say. However, my point, what I wanted to mention this for is because Sorsby is going to be in the 2027 NFL draft. The problem for Sorsby is that this is a really good draft class for quarterbacks. He probably would have, if I was him, I likely would have gone into the draft this past year, where it was a lot weaker of a class, where you only really had Fernando Mendoza, Ty Simpson, who many felt wasn't a strong quarterback prospect, but still was given a first round, draft result, with the Rams. So just seeing that stuff, and these ads are killing me, I apologize. But seeing that, and then now we're going to look at the 2027 class that he's supposed to be a part of, right? We have Arch Manning, obviously, there. We have Dante Moore from Oregon, who many thought was going to be in last year's draft class and didn't. You have Darian Mensah from Miami, who was fantastic at Duke, who's probably going to be pretty good at Miami this year. Drew Mestamaker, who I'm a fan of. A lot of people are a fan of. I personally don't know if Mestamaker comes out this year. I think there could be a potential, a little bit of growing pains going into the Big 12. I think Oklahoma State will have success. Don't get me wrong. I just think that the best thing for Mestamaker to do is to probably stay at least 2 years in the Big 12, because he has time. Like he has the time to do it. So if I'm Mestamaker, I stay another year. So I don't know if he goes out. Julian Sain, another name that's in there, another fan favorite name. They have Lenoris Sellers, who I'm actually a massive fan on Lenoris Sellers, and him getting another year is good for him. Good for South Carolina. We have CJ Carr, who a lot of people really like too. And this is the thing; these numbers, these are not their quarterback rate. This is where they are overall. So we have the 1st, 2nd, 7th, 12th, 15th, 22nd, and 24th picks. CJ Carr in the first round. These are first round projected guys. So we have, what is this? 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 potential first round picks here. I'm sorry, these ads are driving me insane. I love mock draft databases, the site we're using right now. Fan of the show, but man, you got to fix these ads, brother. I'm gonna have to shoot him an email because these ads are this is like a little too much. Even when we skip them and get them out of the way, consistently popping up. Wait, there goes another one. Less than 5 seconds. Anyway, there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 quarterbacks in the first round alone. Then we have Jaden Maeva from USC, who's got a second round grade on him right now. Drake Lindsay from Minnesota, who also has a second round grade. Trinidad Chainless, another quarterback, second round grade. And then we get to Brendan Sorsby, who's just ahead of CJ Bailey. And Sorsby has a third round grade on him right now. And he's continuing to drop down a little bit. That could change, by the end of the year. Some of these guys may not even be in the draft. There's some conversation that Arch Manning doesn't go. I would be very surprised. But there's conversation Mestamaker won't go. And some of these other guys, I believe, saying still could stay if he wanted to. It's fascinating. And there's CJ Bailey's right behind Brendan Sorsby. But Sorsby has a lot of guys ahead of him right now. 8, 9, 10. He has 10 quarterbacks. He'd be QB 11 for the 2027 NFL draft. And is that, with a year completely removed, right? Because he's not going to be able to play Canadian football. I don't think he's going to be in the UFL to get some time. So he's just going to be sitting and training for a year. There's some hesitation for me around that. Is that good for Sorsby? Is that good for the NFL? Is the NFL going to like that he's doing that? Or are they going to just, he's almost set on a path where he really can't win. Because no matter what, like his draft stock's already hurt now because of the betting stuff, right? I mean, like just that alone is going to hurt his draft stock, because if he messes up one more time, he's completely done. He's never going to play down in the NFL again. Not to mention, yes, he was ESPN's number one player in the transfer portal, but he's not their number one player overall. He's not even number one player in the, going for the draft this year or last year. Right, Mendoza was always going to be the QB1. If Sorsby came out, maybe he becomes the QB3-ish behind Ty Simpson, and he gets a second, third round grade, which is probably what he should have done. Get bad advice from the agent there. I get that the NFL, I get that the $5 million guaranteed from Texas Tech might have been too much to say no to, but at the same time, man, it's the NFL. Like, if you have that opportunity and you're getting talked about as a day 2 guy in a very weak draft class where a lot of the big risers from 2 years ago kind of fluttered down, like the Kid Klubniks of the world, like a lot of these guys just really fell off. Like, you had an opportunity to be a day 2 guy, get yourself on an NFL roster, get yourself some security. Would the money have been as good? Maybe not. But you're in the NFL, like you have the opportunity. Like I said, I understand why he went the Texas Tech route before all this stuff came to note. But man, I mean, it's tough. It's tough. It's very tough. And as far as 2027 goes, like what do you even do? Like, how do you prep for that against a quarterback class that's exponentially better than the 2026 quarterback class was? And that's just like, that's not even hyperbole. That's not even a guess. Like, it is better. You know, just having Arch Manning and Dante Moore alone already makes it pretty much better than the 26 class. And I love Fernando Mendoza. I'm a Ty Simpson fan as well. But those two guys are elite players, whereas it was just really Fernando that was the elite guy in the 26 class. And, you know, Simpson was good, but not – I wouldn't call him great. I wouldn't call him elite, you know. So that's something to really – you know, Darian Mentz is another guy, really great player. And then some of the other ones, you know, Lenore Sellers, another really great player, high ceiling. Trinidad Chambliss has a high ceiling if he can reach it. And then there's a lot of, you know, there's a lot of question marks with Mestamaker, Sayin, CJ Carr, Maeva, Jake Lindsey. But Sorsby kind of falls into that next tier of question marks. And some of it's because of his play too. You know, he's not this guy that is like, he's a great quarterback. Don't get me wrong. And I mean, I mentioned on shows in the past, like when we did, you know, when we did our Tuesday night show on College Football Now, and we highlighted Cincinnati. I was a big fan of Cincinnati. However, you know, it's not the same. Like, it's just not, you know, like it's not the same class you'd be going against. So I'm just, you know, I feel for Sorsby because, you know, he made a stupid mistake. I completely get that. I've called him an idiot for that. However, the way that the rest of this has progressed, not necessarily fair to him, and I do feel bad for him that it happened this way. But at the same time, you know, there's really only so much you can do in life. And if he's taking responsibility now after everybody claimed he wasn't really taking responsibility before, hopefully he truly is. Hopefully he's got over it. All you have to do is just delete apps, man. It's really not hard to not bet. Just like it's really not hard to, you know, not commit a crime or do a drug and things like that. Very easy. Hoping the kid gets it figured out and he's able to put it together and get a successful career, whether it's as a starter or more likely a backup practice squad guy. Because chips are stacked against him now, man. Even if you want to, you know, he's going to get the opportunity to go in the 2027 NFL draft. But the other problem with that too is he's currently given a day 2 grade as a round 3 player. However, with the question marks surrounding him, I would not be shocked at all. And plus the time off too. Don't be shocked at all to see him go day 3 now. Like, whether it's 4th round, 5th round, you know, maybe even later than that. I would project Sorsby to be a day 3 guy just because of the intangible, you know, the variables that come with him, not even the football, the off the field stuff, you know, because like I said, one more gambling issue from the kid, even if it's just a sniff of it, you know, he's basically out of there. You know, the NFL likes to give a lot of guys chances. It doesn't really happen when it comes to gambling. And I see, obviously, you know, integrity of the game stuff, but he's not good enough to get past some of that stuff. I mean, even the greats aren't really good at it. Pete Rose got banned from baseball. You know what I mean? So there's a lot of extra stuff there that will make teams hesitant. And while he does currently, like I said, he does currently have a 3rd round grade on him, don't be surprised to see that change to a day 3 selection going forward. With that being said, this has been today's morning blitz conversation surrounding the Brendan Sorsby saga, as he has now surrendered to the NFL, will no longer pursue litigation, and will be preparing for the 2027 NFL draft. Wishing the best for him. Chips are stacked against you, kiddo. You got it figured out. But with that being said, before we get on to our film flash segment, this is going to be featuring Florida State's Duce Robinson. Make sure to hit that like button. Completely free to do so. Appreciate everybody who's been checking out the show. Appreciate the comments, the likes. If you're watching on X, Twitter, Facebook, even YouTube, share the link, share the video. If your friends or family like college football, they're going to really like this show as we go through the biggest stuff in college football, whether it's news, analysis, etc. And we're reaching a little bit of a dead period, but we have literally actually exactly 2 weeks now until some of the media days, the bigger media days start next week. We have the Big 12 media days, which that's going to be incredibly fascinating. Can't wait for that for next week. And then after that, we have the ACC and the rest of the Sun Belt and the rest of the conferences. So stay tuned for that because we will have coverage on those as well. With that being said, let's head into our film room flash featuring Florida State's Duce Robinson. All right. If you're new to the show, every episode we do a film room flash segment highlighting a player, a series of plays, a games, etc. But the little twist is I do not view any of this stuff beforehand. I watch it with you so I can break it down with you in real time. I try to avoid strictly highlights, so I'll usually use X Twitter instead of YouTube because YouTube primarily only has highlights. Now there's some, X player versus X player, X team versus X team, which can be useful, but that's not always the case, and especially nowadays, that's getting to be less of the case with each year that passes due to copyright stuff, etc. However, today's episode is going to be featuring Duce Robinson from Florida State, who I'm a big fan of, formerly from USC as well. He was at USC also. Fantastic wideout, cracked over 1,000 yards this past year. Despite some of the inconsistencies with the Seminoles offense. So we're going to highlight some of his plays here, and let's see what goes. We're going to run through fully. This one first is courtesy of Andy with 2 Y's, NFL. Appreciate him putting this up here. We're going to see a route here from Duce. Good ball, but that's a great ball, by the way. We're going to slow it down a little bit, because there's something I don't necessarily like here. Now he's just running basically, standard go. He's going to fake inside, to try to create separation. The defender's completely flat-footed, stays in his own space, but because he's entitled to that space, this contact here, not a penalty. At least it shouldn't be. The grabbing, a little bit iffy. Doesn't get as much separation. Good hand fighting. Great ball placement, though. And just great ball location from Duce there. I want to play this back again because normally this gets people to bite. This is a good play. This is great coverage. I mean, to be honest, great coverage. Maintains his ground, stays with him. The hand fighting from both guys is there. Would like to see the DP during his head a little bit. Tries to time it with his hands. Can't get there. Ball's perfect. Catch is perfect. Great job by FSU there. And just enough as you I think that was Castellanos to do that. Great job by him. So this now this is him from his USC days. Pretty sure that's Miller Moss. Nice catch and run there. All right, so we're going to throw this into slow-mo and highlight it a little bit. Now USC shotgun set. The running back is going to be drifting to the right. Tight end in line. Duce is on the left side of the formation, pretty close to the pretty close to the formation rather. We got some man coverage stuff going down here with Nevada. They're running a 4-2. Actually, I'm going to turn the volume off. So I'll play that again. Because he's going to be Look at the way he starts this route out, like he's going to be going outside. So he maintains the leverage on the inside of his route. Just a simple little, some simple slant. And then gets the yak, a good speed. I apologize, y'all. I'm having apparently Facebook is having some issues now with the stream. I guess they removed the video. I'm not sure why. For copyright reasons. Not necessarily sure why it did that. Whatever. That's a little. I'm not doing all that stuff for that. Okay, we're gonna put it back on here. So I guess the stream on Facebook stopped because of something on YouTube hit it. Might have been this video. But anyway, Duce is going to be at the top of the screen here. He's going to fake like he's going in out. We're going to be running a go to the outside and just enough to create separation. Like you can see him start heading that way. Gets enough separation so he can go inside in a slant or a post. More of a post than a slant, but good speed to get away. And he gets a touchdown there too.
He runs the double move. Watch, he's just going to get off the line of scrimmage. He's going to stutter, take off again.
I like that. Strong hands too. All right, so we're going to do this one. Shotgun set, left side of the formation again. Like Louis Riddick said, runs a double. Gets him, stop, breaks his ankles. Whew, good play, man. Is that Virginia? I think it's against Virginia. Man, it is against Virginia. That is it's a great play. Pretty good ball too. Not a bad ball where it has to be split between two defenders. He high points it. Don't really know if he had the jump per se, but I like what I see. What else we got here? Oh, this is a good one too. This is against East Texas A&M though. Yeah. Love seeing that. He's a big play, man. He's big play. Big play guy. So we're gonna slow this down. There's something to pit in that good shotgun. He's a little higher up than usual for a shotgun, but anyway, Duce top of the screen. He's running to go, man. Oh, sorry, I thought I muted that. Muted the sound. Yeah, he's just running to go, blows right by him. Past the safety too. Safety should have been on top of that. He isn't. 82-yard pitch and catch. Just another great play. Kid's a stud, man. Oh, we've already highlighted that one. They have another one by this kid. I think this is, same one. Apologize, y'all. I'm trying to find some. Oh, here we go.
Duce Robinson. Duce is going to fake like he's going across the field. Then he stems up
See,
right down the middle of the field.
So he's good on his stems, man. He's really good on his stems.
And look at the pressure he's under.
So we're going to slow this one down a little bit. And they're going to show the replay anyway. But Duce at the bottom. Gets cornerback blitz. So he's just so good on his double move, man. It's ironic that they did it against Louisville. That's where Miller Moss ends up playing. All right, let's see. I want to see. I apologize. I want to see who picks him up after because he called it safety. Yeah, the fake got him. That was like the perfectly timed call. Perfect fake too. Because the way he does that fake, it sets up the whole thing. He goes in the fake. This is beautiful fake. I don't know if I hope that's by design. If it's not by design too, that's even more impressive, I think. That was a hell of a play. Honestly, it was a great play. All right, if this one loads up. It's a good ball by Miller Moss there. We're going to get both sides. Well, this side doesn't really help. Shows the clean pocket, but doesn't really help. All right, so he's going to be in the slot. Shout out to Christian for this. I mean, this is almost 10 yards. Yeah, 9 yards of cushion, and he just blows by him. Blows by him. What's the safety on this one? Safety's has high. It makes the right read. He's just not quick enough to get there. He's just a little out of place. If he was if he was on the other side of this Modelo symbol, probably is able to contest this. Instead, he just runs a go from the slot, blows past this defender. Good ball. Gets them inside the 5-yard line. He's just really good, man. He's really deceptively quick for a massive guy. Yeah, there's another one. That's a crazy catch. Yeah. One-handed, he said. Heck of a catch. And once again, it's against East Texas. But still. I'll play this back. He's just running go ball. See, and like I don't know if you guys remember when I said before, I really loathe when my defender is playing with his back to the boundary. However, this is one of those times I actually think it's fine. When you know that your guy's running a go ball. Like, that's fine. He should have stayed, but then he gets himself caught up. He has the position, needs to turn around there. The fact that gets completed is insane by Duce. Hell of a catch. The defender had good position. All you got to do is turn around, man. Right now, good. Just stay like that. He gets too busy trying to fight with Duce than to actually play the ball. Good coverage, though. Pretty dang good coverage.
Yeah, it's good against good. Two physical players, one a physical corner. Red zone weapon.
All right, so we're going to see this one where it doesn't work in his favor. All right, press coverage from Miami. Xavier Lucas. Let me go full screen, sorry. Xavier Lucas. Really handsy there, man. Doesn't look at the... Oh, he gets his hand in there, though. Can't get the separation. He tries to at the line of scrimmage with the little juke move. That's tough. That's tough. That's probably 50-50 on a flat. Well, he's not even really playing the ball. He plays it at the end, but by that point, are you really playing the ball? That's tough. Doesn't connect. But it shows one of my few concerns when it comes to Duce, and that is playing through contact. That is a concern I do have with Duce. He's a big guy, though. So the potential is very much there. I just want to see if Drake London. Oh, by the way, Duce was a tight end in college or high school. I want to see this one. This is against San Jose State. Play action. Just running a post. Again, same kind of thing. He's very good at faking like he's running the go to create leverage for himself. That little, he slants upwards towards the boundary just enough so that the defensive back makes a move and then he cuts on the inside. I love the Stream East logo here. Somebody just pirating the video. That's hilarious. Makes a good catch. I apologize. With the hands, too. That's one thing I do like about Duce a lot is that he's a hands catcher. I don't know if he maybe could have moved up a little bit on that stem there instead of having to jump, and maybe that's a touchdown instead. But look at this again. He's running. He starts moving towards the outside like he's running towards the boundary, and then gets inside to get the leverage. If he ran a little bit faster on the top of that route, I think he could take that in. If he cuts the route a little bit up north instead, that's probably a touchdown. I think Miller was trying to lead him a little bit there. It's a good play though, regardless. Let's see if there's one or two more on here. Oh, there's not. Okay. So that was our highlight of Duce Robinson, who I really am a massive fan of. A little bit of a concern with his against contact, especially press, how we saw against Xavier Lucas at Miami in that goal line situation. He did have a little bit of an issue there with an actual physical defender. And we saw in one of the other plays where he did have some issues. He ended up making the catch in that other play. But he does have some issues there with some physicality that you'd like to see less of. But I'm assuming another year in the system, another year in the strength and conditioning programs, that he has enough physicality within himself to mitigate that issue when he gets to the NFL. Duce is a great player. I'm very excited to see how he does in Florida State again. He's going to be the leader on the team. He very quietly hit over 1,000 yards this past season. And surprisingly, not nearly as big of a name in circles as you would assume. But he's somebody to keep an eye on. Like, he was a former tight end in high school, turns to a receiver in college, and he's been pretty dominant. Big body guy, incredibly fast, and very agile, which for a big guy is important. He has the potential to be a true stud at the NFL level. But that's it. That's been our Film Room Flash segment for today's episode. Now, this episode started early because there's some maintenance stuff going on, but I wanted to make sure I did it live because I don't really like doing the pre-recorded stuff mostly for time issues, but there's some other stuff involved with that too. However, with all that being said, I hope you guys enjoyed today's episode. We talked about Brendan Sorsby actually surrendering now to the NFL, no longer pursuing litigation to play this year. He's going to be entering the 2027 NFL draft, which may be a massive detriment to him. Who knows? We also highlighted, ironically, Texas Tech having a docu-series now filmed for the Brendan Sorsby saga that's going to be released on Paramount before the start of the 2026 season, which that is insane. But hey, go get your money, Tech. Bleacher Report named a number of players for the most exciting players for the 2026 season. Some fascinating names on that, so check that out. We talked about the tragedy from the former East Texas football players. We talked about Nebraska running back Mekhi Nelson and his aggravated battery charge. He should no longer play if he gets convicted of that. Just keep that in mind. Remember that. And we also talked about Wisconsin having their jerseys patch a sponsorship deal with Culver's. Then we summed all of that up with a solid film room breakdown of Duce Robinson, which we actually got more tape than I thought we'd find on Twitter. There's a bunch of stuff on YouTube, obviously over 10 minutes worth, but wasn't going to be doing more than a half-hour breakdown on that. 15, 20 minutes is always good. Plus, YouTube usually, unless there's a one-on-one section or a team versus team section, which I don't want to parse through for certain stuff. I don't really want to just focus on highlights. And that's where Twitter actually provides that more, because there will be some critical stuff too, like we saw with the Miami when Xavier Lucas was covering Duce there. But with all that being said, before we get out of here, please make sure you click that like button. Completely free to do so. Helps the channel out greatly. If you watch us on X, Twitter, Facebook, YouTube, make sure to hit that share button. If your friends or family like college football, they're going to really like this show. Normally, I'm in a nice little studio, but we have some maintenance stuff going on now this week. in my daughter's daycare. So not able to hit the studio this week. So that's why you see the light side of the room. And then we have the dark side of the room here for whatever reason. But with that being said, we'll be in the studio returning next week. Friday is the last show that I'll be at the house doing it. I appreciate everybody's patience on that end. With all that being said, we have some media days coming up the next week or so. Stay tuned for all that because we're going to have a lot of coverage on that. So it should be a fun time. Football is getting here soon. Really can't wait. Really excited and happy to have everybody during this go through this with me. So with that being said, this has been Thomas Christopher, and we are out of here, my friend.